Welcome to Resource Thursday with Carifred. I'm your host, Paco Lebron. This is the place to learn how to run your IT service business, whether you're a one-person shop or leading a team for the journey. This is the place for you. Let me go ahead and welcome our guest today. We have none other than Fred Silva over at Carifred. For those that may know him for one of his more popular products, UVK Ultra Virus Killer. Fred, how are you doing today?
I'm okay. I hope you're doing well too. And
Doing
thanks
well,
for
doing
bringing me to the show.
No, it's been as those listening and those in our community, they have been really interested in knowing more about UVK, knowing more about you and the company. And then we got some cool surprises coming on later down in a couple weeks as well, which we'll kind of dive into here in a bit. But before we dive into talking about you, Fred, your intro origin of how you kind of came into the space and developed the software, I like to talk about my favorite thing, which is our in-person event, TechCon Unplugged. TechCon Unplugged
Okay.
is in September the 16th to the 18th at the Hilton Rosemont Chicago O'Hare. Things you will learn is you'll learn from other like-minded business owners in panels and breakout sessions. You'll get key takeaways from partners and vendors in the space and experience the one-to-one hallway conversations where I personally like to say with Rick is where the magic happens. Tickets are $2.99, but you can take advantage of subscribing into our community group where we have a few surprises in there that can help maybe ease that ticket price down. So head over to techconunplugged.com and purchase your tickets today. All right, Fred. So again, really appreciate you coming on the show. Like I mentioned before, there's been a lot of influx interest in one of your products that you offer. A lot of people are really trying to dive into knowing more about just the company and yourself. But before we kind of go into that route, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and kind of how you got to creating the software that a lot of our users use today?
Okay. When I started creating UVK, I was still living in Portugal. Uh, I used to do some repairs and I needed some tools that weren't available at the time. And so I started to create a small tool that could remove some viruses manually because there was no tools back then that helped us to search for a virus or an issue within Windows easily. So I started creating with UVK basically for that. It wasn't a malware scanner yet. It was just a tool that allowed us to to go deep into the system and search for things that were hidden and we try to repair them. So then it started to grow up, and it is until it is what it is today. And I came to France to continue to developing it a few years ago. That's when it started to grow bigger.
Gotcha.
Uh, I'm also a computer technician, so in fact, when I need something, when I'm repairing a computer, I always use UVK. I cannot really do anything without it. It's a very important tool, and I'm sure that everyone that's using it would agree with me. It lets us do so many things that we could stay here for hours talking about it.
Yep. No, absolutely. I know that for our audience that have used it, there's so many things that you can automate with this tool.
Yeah,
And as you mentioned, there's so many, registry edits, there are improvements, there are, like you mentioned, malware and virus remediation that could be done from this tool as well. And you coming from a technician background, understanding what a lot of IT service providers are doing has really been helpful to them. But what I come to find out today, kind of going from your website, which is carifred.com, CARIFRED.com, is UVK Ultravirus Killer is really not your only product. You actually have developed
no,
quite a few others that help computer repair technicians, IT service providers, MSPs. Do you want to kind of just dive into a couple of the other favorites you have, or even just your entire product line? Because I think it would be very interesting for our audience to know what you're offering to them to help them out.
sure. If you allow me to share my screen,
Yep.
I'm s- I'll just tell yes, the screen.
And for those on the audio podcast, feel free to go over to either YouTube or the Facebook video. Fred is going to be showing us his screen on some of those product lines.
Entire screen. Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead.
Is it sharing? Okay.
Yes,
So
should add now. Yep.
okay, now what you're seeing right now is my website. And so as you can see, there is here UVK Ultraviolet Killer, which is one of my main products, along with Tech Tool Store, which is a tool also built for especially for computer technicians that help people to fix computers by running and downloading, updating about 600 tools, free tools created for technicians. So we also have a small tool that it's not aimed to computer technicians, but they can still install it for free in every user and every computer that they work on, which is SOS Security Suite. It's a completely free application that contains some of UVK's features in a more light version that can help to protect the computers. We also have for technicians Clear Disk Info, which is similar to Crystal Disk Info. Displays smart information about hard drives and stuff like that. WAU Manager is a replacement for Windows Update Manager, for Windows updates, which lets us stop the Windows Update service and make the updates with these tools, which is, in my opinion, is more reliable than the Windows updating system. And
So this is
obviously,
one of those tools that allow you to essentially, is it an on-demand feature when you install this, or you can set it to automatically for critical and security updates if as need be, versus what's installed on the machine?
with this tool, you can install it in a machine and then fully replace the Windows automatic updates with it.
Gotcha.
I can quickly show you this because it's part of UVK. As you can see here is UVK.
All right.
And if you want to launch WAU Manager from UVK, it's here in the System Repairs module. You can launch it from here. And as you can see, you can disable the built-in Windows automatic updates. And then you can create a schedule that will let you update Windows as you like, whenever you like. You can also, if you use Windows Defender, you can create a schedule for updating Windows Defender daily. Pardon.
Okay. So they can download this as a separate utility or through the UVK app as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. Okay. So what have we got? We also have a tool that may be interesting for computer technicians, two actually, which is Simply Sync Backup, and PC Data Back. Those two tools are destined to create and restore backups.
Okay.
And basically, all the other tools are very small tools that are also most of it part of UVK, such as the account profile fixer is part of UVK, multiple reboot schedule to stop resetting my apps, to browse, quick with user manager. So all of these are small tools that are part of UVK, but you can also download them as a standalone utility.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. Did you still want to show your screen? Okay.
No.
So I know that with UVK, there's a lot of added benefits. As for those that saw on the screen, not only can you really automate your process, you can really go through a lot of scenarios on just addressing and helping with PCs and the setup. So right now the utilities is only Windows based, correct, Fred?
Yes, I'm not building utilities for any OS.
Gotcha. And then the great thing about this utility as well is you can actually fully brand it. From my understanding, it with a paid license. Can you talk a little bit more about, for those that are looking to work on or to acquire the software, what are the plans or tiers that you have when selling the product?
Uh, Actually, the branding is quite simple and it's quite effective. I don't know if you noticed my application, my UVK is also branded with my username and my logo and all of that. And what I think is when I built UVK, my main goal was not profit, so I sell
Mm,
it pretty cheap, so anyone can get it for a very small amount of for a very small price, and compared to the money that it helps you to make, it's really symbolic. So branding is pretty easy. It's in the moment that people buy the application, they just upload their logo, they tell which is their company name, and it will be automatically done.
perfect. I think there's a big piece that you just mentioned, Fred, and you created this software not for profit, and this is one of those where for those that are utilizing the software, you definitely want to make sure you pay for the paid version because it's such a nominal amount that Fred really should be charging more. And he not only should he be charging more for like a one-time fee, he should probably be charging a monthly fee with the amount of updates that he does for all of those tools. So people can kill me later if he does raise his prices. But what I would say is that for as much as it helps on that, first, as you mentioned, Fred, it helps you monetarily wise, right? You're not paying for a huge expensive tool to achieve a lot of the automation and really the good and strong abilities to tune up a machine, clean up the machine, really get it to optimal performance. But not only are you doing that with the tool that you could have spent more money for and a great service, but you're also saving your time and the amount of time that you're saving in that automation. Can you talk a little bit more about how when you created this, how much time it saved you over the years as you just kind of fine tuned and try to figure out what was going to be best for how you would use it?
Well, actually, every time that I had an issue that I couldn't resolve with UVK, I then added it to it. So that's how it started to grow. And so by now I've added thousands of small fixes that I built. Many of them I built them into a single one, but there are really thousands of fixes in the application.
Mm.
Um, I think basically the system repair module, it has most of the things that we need. So if we just go there and start there, we'll fix about everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think for UVK, for us, it replaced quite a few tools that we used to use. My techs love it. I mean, I think we had to figure out we just had so many of them. I mean, we just had so many licenses out there. And then I think it's one of those where you just don't know when you have a tool as powerful as UVK, sometimes you just don't know all of the stuff that it does, right? Because there's so much that it could be done, as powerful as it is. So as we started diving even more, which is my bit of advice for everyone, is that what tools you're purchasing, you really want to expand on what they can do because they could replace others that you had. And that's what happened with us with UVK. Not only did we have a brandable solution so that we didn't have to show when we're using it on our client's machine who was it from, right? And it helps provide that branding and stickiness of you as a business, but of all the additional tools that you could just have a one-stop shop and really just take care of everything you need, whether it was system repair for a system that acted really funky. So for like us, as we do our repairs, if we kind of do a Hail Mary before we reformat it, we just check everything and hit it and let it go as a kind of our, let's hope, fingers crossed that it gets it fixed, and then go from there. And oftentimes it fixes it, right? Because sometimes there are modules and items that you just don't know what's what. And that's what's great about UVK and how it categorizes all of the different ways of these system repairs, along with some of the other tools that it uses as well. But the other piece to it as well, kind of what you just mentioned, Fred, was really having the ability of knowing what you have, and if it's something that is not there, you listen. And I think this is something that, as I mentioned before, John Dubinsky, who was a friend of the networks, formerly of the Maven Group, who kind of introduced the tool to us, was, you have a great forum on your website, is my understanding, and a community that really help guide and talk to you on just everything of all your product lines. Can you tell me a little bit more about how important it has been to listening to your customers, your clients, your community on just anything you've done with any of the products that you've offered?
Well, the forum is no longer used by many people, unfortunately, but it used to be quite active for some time. And
Okay.
there were actually some of the users in the forum that helped. They really helped with improving the application by suggesting new features and reporting bugs and all of those things. But
Gotcha.
yeah, you were talking about the system repair and how easy it can be to check everything, but I don't think that's the way to do it.
Okay.
UVK I lately added a small module that helps people to select what to check, the fixes to run.
Okay.
That is in the system repair module in the right bottom pane. There is a button that says easy diagnostic or easy
Mm,
diagnosis, something like that. By clicking this button, you can check a few boxes that will in turn check the fixes in the list. That will
mm,
make it easy to select. For example, if you have a network problem, well, my computer has network problems, and it will select automatically the fixes that usually repair network problems. You see?
gotcha.
I don't know if I have to share the screen to show
No,
this. No?
I can add it there if you want.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just bring up my UVK module. So there you go. You see here the diagnostics. So this is the one thing that we can use. For example, if the computer is infected with the rootkit or bootkit, it will
Hmm.
automatically, when you click on check only, it will
Hmm.
automatically check some of the items in the list that are destined to fix problems related to rootkits.
Okay.
For example, if you just want a system cleanup and boost, which is one thing that I always use in every computer I repair, just click on here. You click on check only, and it will check most of the fixes on the list that will increase speed, for free system, free storage space, and improve computer's performance in general. So this is basically it. You just check whatever you need on the list, and it will
Hmm.
check in turn on the fixes list. Okay.
Okay. That's actually really cool to know that it has that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone can see, there's so many options that you can check and features of what it fixed, because it really goes granular into the system to try and fix it. Which, Fred, it brought up a great point, is how often do you update the software and your app, whether it's UVK or any of your other additional? Is it usually a monthly, quarterly, annually that you update it, or is it a lot sooner?
Uh, I try to update it not more often than weekly, but sometimes I do 2 updates in a week. It happens if
Oh,
I find
okay.
a bug or something important to add. But usually I do updates weekly
Okay.
of UVK and Sector Store, basically,
Gotcha.
because other applications I can have no time to update them weekly.
Sure, sure, sure. So Tech Tool Store, I know, is another favorite that a lot of users tend to use. Can you talk a little bit more of what Tech Tool Store actually does, and how has that been benefiting a lot of users as well?
Sure. Tech Tool Store basically it runs other applications, but it's so much more than that. Can you please share my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so here I've launched my Tech Tool Store, which can also be brandable. You can place your icon and your computer name in the title bar up there.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, TechToolStore has so many tools included that you can that you that you can select and run, update and run. Keep them updated, for example, in a USB stick in a pen drive.
Okay.
Imagine, for example, that you wanted to run ADW cleaner and ultra hardware cleaner to search for hardware and remove it. Just select the ones in the list. You click on update and run selected, for example, and it will download the application and run it and automatically start the scan. It does a lot of
Oh,
automation
nice.
too.
Okay.
And so it starts the scan, and then then you can control what to delete. Of course, you will not automate the other removal.
Okay. And I noticed that you have quite a bit of tools, not only just third party applications, but really a lot of removal or just third party tools that we would use to try and minimize or work on a PC as well. Like you mentioned, you had ADW cleaner. There's a lot of removals that you have in your libraries. Do you constantly add new apps as you can in this store as you hear about them, or that's been requested, or what
Uh,
tells you to add an app or have an app updated in your tool store?
well, just like UVK, whenever I need a new tool that my applications don't have,
Hmm.
uh, I added to Tech Tool Store, and some other tools I add them because some users ask for it,
Okay.
or or sometimes we and me and my team we search for new tools in the web. We search in some websites that talk about the computer technicians, what they use, and all of those things. And
Hmm.
whenever we find a tool that could be useful, we just add it.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. Now, if there are users that want to know more on just being able to, they're trying out the software, they want to use more of your tool sets, or maybe they have an app that they'd like to have included. Is that just a simple email to you to say, hey, we would love to have this app inside of your tool store, here's the reason why? Are there any criterias that you ask of customers on an app that is wants to be added to the tool store?
No, not really. If there's something that can be useful for computer repair, I always add it. The only thing that I request is that it to be free, or at least to have a free version,
Yep.
because as the application's name said, it's a big collection of free technician tools. So if it's a paying only tool, I do not add it, but Tech Tool Store supports adding new tools, so users can add the tools they want to.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So
Very cool.
yes,
Very cool.
are you still sharing my screen? Yes, you are.
No,
So I
yep.
can. Okay. So there is a button here in the right pane. It says Add Tools, and
Mm-hmm.
from this small window that pops up, you can
Mm-hmm.
just give it a name. The name it needs to have at least 6 characters. You
Okay.
can place a URL, the URL of a tool to download.
Mm-hmm.
Then the file names that will be placed in the tool Tech Tool Store tools directory. That's in the same place that the executable file is. And then you can run up to 4 commands and one uninstall command. So you can basically fully automate a tool that you download, install, run, and then afterwards you can uninstall it.
Okay. Very cool. No, that's awesome. I think that the ability to really being able to not only share have tools that are already in there, but you can add your own custom tools as needed through that application as well. One question, Fred, because I know we have like the last 5 minutes of the show here, but I get a lot
Mhm.
of requests that say, hey, there's a lot of stuff to go into this, right? There's so much in this tool that I just want to wrap my head around. Do you have any type of training libraries, videos, things of that nature that you kind of go through some of the tools? Or has it really been more of, hey, email me with any questions and I can maybe help you with a scenario that you might be working on and best way of using the tool?
In the website, I have an online pages, online help pages that explain how the software is. There's
Okay.
about 50 web pages in the that you can click directly from UVK or Tech Tool Store. You could go directly to the help section which is online. There are many videos, not videos that I made myself, but videos that were made by some other people, such as Bright Tech, for example,
Okay.
that talk about UVK and Tech Tool Store and many of the other tools I made. On YouTube, you can, if you just search for Tech Tool Store, or All Providers Killer or Carifred or something like that, you'll find many tools, many videos.
Perfect. Perfect. So, for those that had seen the video podcast, obviously you had seen a kind of a glimpse of what UVK and Tech Tool Store can do. Fred has been gracious enough to not only come on this show, but also he's willing to give us his time to do a training session that we're going to have for the online community for MSP Unplugged. So we are going to figure out a date here in a couple weeks to get enough people to make the time for it. I do have to still solidify that date with Fred. But once we get that going, we will advertise that date in the Facebook group at the MSP Unplugged community group. If you are not part of the group, head over to patreon.com/MSP Unplugged. We are working on a way to get that membership tiers updated. However, if you do contribute, that will gain you access to the Facebook group, because we do truly feel that, that membership allows you to get some exclusive access to things. And this one being Fred being gracious enough, because the community has asked for having some type of UVK training, and Fred has been nice enough and with his time to really give us his time to go through UVK. So we highly urge those of our community members, bring your questions, bring the things that you would like to learn for UVK. Me and Fred will go through some best practice scenarios, so we have some stuff to go over. But really, this is going to be an AMA for you guys on what you want to learn about UVK. And for those that have not purchased UVK, I would urge you to head over to carifred.com to take a look at the tool, see if it's right for you, and then purchase that tool license, because you just can't beat the cost, you can't beat the efficiency, and you can't beat the automation that this tool does for everything you need for your business. I have my techs use it, they love it. And it's just a great opportunity for you to get more power in just one single application. But Fred, before we end the show, is there anything that I may not have talked about on the tools that you offered, or anything that you may want to inform our audience that are listening about the products?
Well, I'm always working on the applications, and if people have questions, or if for some reason the tool has some bugs, I just ask everyone to please don't hesitate to contact me. I always reply to my messages, and because a tool like this can never be done by one single person. It has to be done by many people that tried in many computers, many hardwares, many different hardware. And so please do not hesitate to contact me.
Very cool. Now, Fred, for those that want to maybe reach out to you, talk a little bit more to you, what's the best way that they can reach you?
Uh, I have a contact form at my website, carifred.com. People can also email me at fred@carifred.com, and basically that's it.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, Fred, I really appreciate you taking the time this morning. I know that you're over in France, so it's later in the afternoon for you, close to the evening. So I really appreciate you taking the time. And yeah, again, thank you for coming on here. For
Thank
those
you.
that are listening, no, thank you. For those that have listened into the show, and we're starting to bring more of these hands-on conversations, vendors that you want us to listen to or want us to bring onto the show. Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday. Watch the video podcast on youtube.com/MSP Unplugged or facebook.com/MSP Unplugged. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button to be notified whenever a new episode is available. You can also take us with you on the go on your favorite podcatcher app. We're on Amazon Music, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. Again, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time on MSP Unplugged.